The Usos just got some nice subtle advancement to their story, so we'll see what that's about. We'll also check out Nia Jax teaser, Paul Heyman, and more. Starting things off with everything new for the Usos. The last few months have been full of an insane amount of tension between Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso. The once united brothers, who were always on the same page with each other, were now in complete separate books from each other. Jey Uso had the mindset of Roman Reigns, which is just to eliminate everyone that's in front of his way and do whatever it takes to get to the top. While Jimmy Uso had the more traditional babyface mindset of putting others first and showing care and love to not only family members, but to friends and others along the way as well. These two different mindsets resulted in the brothers colliding a lot with their views and decision making in recent months, feeling like it's really just building up to the same type of crazy and explosive payoff. We originally thought we'll see the payoff at Saturday night's main event a few weeks back, but nothing ended up happening on the show for the Usos. However, this narrative and issue between the brothers looks like it's still very much alive and strong in current day. We haven't really seen any major developments regarding their storyline with each other in recent weeks, but we just saw a very big, yet very subtle moment on the November 14th edition of Smackdown. The Usos come up to Cody Rhodes backstage, and that's when Jimmy Uso dropped some good news for Cody. Jimmy tells him that he spoke to CM Punk, and how Punk is bringing in Jimmy into his War Games team, so he'll be there to help out against the Vision in that match. Although no words were spoken from Jey after Jimmy's reveal, Jey's facial expression sure does appear to say a lot here within this moment. After Jimmy makes this reveal to Cody about joining the War Games team, Jey has a look on his face that appears to be a mix of disgust, confusion, and surprise. And telling by that look on Jey's face, it seems possible to think that Jimmy probably didn't even tell Jey that he was on the team for War Games. It looks like Jey might have just learned that piece of information right there in that moment of Jimmy telling Cody. So maybe Jey is feeling a bit offended that Jimmy told Cody before he even told his own twin brother about it. And if that's true, then that really shows the disconnection levels right now between Jimmy and Jey. Jimmy didn't even bother to tell his brother that he was joining the War Games team. He told it to Cody first. So that could be a part of Jey's side-eyed look towards Jimmy when he was making that reveal to Cody. The other reason for that look on Jey's face is probably he doesn't think Jimmy's a right fit for the team. Before Jimmy joined the War Games team, their team consisted of Jey, Cody, and Punk, all current and former WWE World Champions. But Jimmy's not a former World Champion, so maybe Jey's already looking at Jimmy as the weak link of their War Games team, and he's not pleased about Jimmy joining them. It's pretty rough, since that is his twin brother after all, but maybe Jey is looking at Jimmy as a wasted spot on their War Games team. Maybe Jey knows he can't count on Jimmy, and how that spot should have gone to someone more credible. That appears to be all the reasons why Jey looked at Jimmy like that. Jey didn't like being left in the dark about Jimmy joining, and he probably feels like Jimmy's gonna hurt their chances of winning that match. Either way, Jimmy's in, and he will be a part of CM Punk's War Games team. That team will now include CM Punk, the Usos, Cody Rhodes, and one more individual who is yet to be revealed at the time of this recording. But a lot of fans feel like that last spot for CM Punk's team will go to Roman Reigns because it'll be an insane full circle moment. In 2024, Roman's team desperately needed one last spot to be filled on their team, and CM Punk did that favor of filling in that spot for Roman. And now in 2025, CM Punk is leading a team and needs someone to fill in that last spot. So it'll be very poetic if that final spot gets taken by Roman Reigns, who would be repaying Punk the favor that he did at last year's War Games. So if Roman ends up being that final man, that's one stacked babyface War Games team. But again, in Jey's mind, he's probably looking at Jimmy for weakening the team by joining. So is it possible to think that we could get the big payoff of the Usos moment at War Games itself? Seems like a possibility for sure. The men's heel team at War Games has not picked up a win in the match since 2022, when the Bloodline won the match. 2023 and 2024 were both won by the babyface men's team. So fans are thinking that it's about time that a heel men's team wins the War Games match again. And if that's the plan, it surely looks like Jimmy Uso would be the one to eat the pin there in the War Games match. It's hard to picture anyone else on that babyface team getting pinned for the loss, so could Jimmy be the one that gets pinned and costs the team the match? Because if that does turn out to be Jimmy's role in the match, Jey is going to be extremely heated, because exactly what he predicted and his worst nightmare became a reality. Jimmy was the weak link and did end up costing them the match. So could that end up being the reason why Jey absolutely loses it on Jimmy? Although the babyface team is stacked, fans are very suspicious that the babyface team could end up losing this year's War Game match. So it just makes you wonder about what situation from the babyface side of things could explode within this War Games match. And it sure looks like the Uso situation is something that could pop during this match. So keep a close eye on Jey's facial expressions here over the next few weeks, because it could be foreshadowing of what's to come real soon. Sticking with the Bloodline related topics, Nia Jax recently spoke with a Happy Hour show, and she once again touched on the idea of a woman joining the male side of the family story with the entire Bloodline narratives that are going on in WWE. Nia Jax had this to say about the topic, quote, "It would only be right for a female to join the Bloodline. Our family runs deep in this business. There have been talks, but it's always like, what works best for the story? And I don't think it's ruled out that it will never happen, but the boys have been creating such a cool niche for themselves. I like doing what I do in the women's division. I enjoy creating my own path. Hopefully one day, the MFTs have a cool thing going on," end quote. So Nia Jax confirmed what fans have already assumed, that there have been serious talks and discussion about making that happen, but the trigger is yet to be pulled on that storyline. But Nia is keeping that door open for the future. Whether it includes the female family member joining Roman Reigns' story or solo story, Nia Jax still thinks that possibility is alive and going into the future. AJ Lee has been nowhere to be seen at all on WWE television since her first match back on September 20th. And as it approaches 2 months without anything from her, fans are starting to wonder when she'll be seen again. Well, the November 10th edition of Raw included a potential subtle hint that it won't be that long now. Paul Heyman mentioned CM Punk's wife by name during that edition of Raw, noting that CM Punk couldn't be any more unlikable unless his name was AJ Lee. A massive mention and massive shot at AJ Lee from Paul Heyman. And with AJ Lee being mentioned in such a big way like that, involving both CM Punk and Paul Heyman, it really has fans wondering if that mention of AJ was a massive hint that she'll be back on WWE television in the imminent future. So everyone will surely be on the lookout for that. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.